All right, so these three animations were probably the favorite that I have done in this series so far, and hopefully that keeps happening because the previous days were also my favorite. But to show you the three pieces from today, first is this poster here, "The World Is Yours," and this actually originally started as a Photoshop file, and this was kind of the mock-up that I had for it, and then it turned into this after about an hour or three of playing around. It took me quite a while, but it is very complex in like a lot of the details. Everything has its own texture, and yeah, I'm honestly pretty happy with it. It's pretty moody. It's like average 16-year-old after watching Scarface for the first time, but I never got to express how much I like that movie, so I enjoyed that. The next one is the WGMI. If you've ever been involved in crypto, you've probably heard this, but it is the acronym for We're All Going to Make It. And this was just a pretty simple animation. And I didn't name things properly because it was quicker, but this is posterized time, wiggle transform, grain, chromatic aberration that actually isn't turned on, so this doesn't do anything. I have a fast box blur and then a chromatic aberration on the map. So this is really cool because you can see with this turned off, the outside is very dull. And then even if I turn it back on, you can see, all right, without the chromatic aberration, the blur kind of feels boring. But you throw this on now, the blur is pretty cool. And then all as well, just a vignette to push the eyes more towards the center. And then the way that you have the background going is there's just a pre-comp, and this has the text. So this text, each of them have a wiggle expression on them. And then and then over here we also have the texture pre-comp where it's just the textures shuffling, and then each of them has like pretty much just like a curves or levels or invert effect to get them all in this kind of uniform black color. And then it all kind of comes together with a few textures on top to have these cool layers, and then yeah, just be like a cool little, almost like a GIF. Now, this one, I definitely could have done more for the animation on this one, but this is probably one of my favorite just pure compositions I've ever done. This statue, the self-made man's been my favorite for most of my life since I got introduced to it by my dad as a kid. And it was in the course that I saw. They were doing statue lessons, so I knew this is what I had to do. And then I kind of, without like going on Pinterest or anything, formed the idea of the Colosseums and everything. So if I were to take off a lot of the layers you see that are kind of, making this look like something it's not, you can see in its rawest form, we have the pillars. Each of the pillars that you see here each have just a tint effect and a curves to get it to be a little bit darker and match the sunset vibe. You can see the sunset itself is just an image, and then I just lined it up behind his head. And then you can see the little ridge here. I'm pretty sure this is it's just like a random stone wall I found on Google, and then I just scaled it up and rotated it. And then you can see as I add, I mean, this is unrealistic. This is actually a shadow. If I were to show you the layer, it won't work by itself. This is a shadow, which doesn't make sense if the light's behind that it lands on the face, but who cares? And then the usual stack of post-production to get it to look pretty cool. And then I didn't actually put anything in 3D space, but there's a very cool effect called optics compensation that kind of gives a optical illusion effect when you pull it, so it makes it look like a fake 2.5D parallax. So that was all of the comps I put together today. Was a really good work day. I didn't work on the clavicular video at all, but you can see here has been a busy week. It's been, yeah, back to back busy weeks. I've been really happy with the amount of work I've been doing. Excited for August. I put all my goals down in the Discord. If you have joined it, it's like in the description below. It's just where I talk to people. But yeah, I am now going to go to bed. This has been roughly I would say, give or take 12 to 13 hour day. So, yeah, I enjoyed it, and I will see you guys tomorrow.